Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jamie. And tonight's topic is all about the holiday Imbolc. And I feel like I should spell this, but you probably saw it. Imbolc. Mm-hmm. And sometimes a G, like LG instead of LC. But this is a holiday that's a sacred turning point of the year that's celebrated by witches and pagans. And it's a time of renewal and of hope and embracing the returning light.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because we're going to be exploring why Imbolc is celebrated and sort of like there's this middle holiday that nobody's ever heard of it. The name is super weird and it's unpopular and, but it has significance. If you've heard of Groundhog Day or Candlemas, those two things have their root in this holiday right here, Imbolc.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to jump in. Yeah?
Jump right into the meaning of it. And, it's more than just Groundhog's Day or whatever.
Candlemas.
It's Candlemas.
Yeah.
So, it's celebrated at that time, first or second of February. But it marks the midpoint between the darkest day of winter, which is Yule, and the promise of growth and light, the spring equinox. The name Imbolc comes from... You're going to have to help me with this. Imbolc. I don't know how to say that.
Imbolc.
Imbolc, meaning in the belly, symbolizing fertility, potential, and the stirring of life in the earth.
I think an important thing to point out here is when we speak about potential, we're speaking about what lies below the surface that can be, the potential of what can come forward. Because when we plant a seed, we have no idea what is happening under the soil once we plant it. And that is the energy surrounding Imbolc. It's like that there's a seed in there. That seed is going to most likely have a plant that comes up, that flourishes, that you're going to also feed and protect and nourish. But it's that moments of you don't have certainty.
Possibility.
Yeah. So you have potential and you have hope.
Mm-hmm. Imbolc acknowledges the quiet yet powerful preparation for spring, much like seeds preparing for sprout, which is what you just said.
Yeah.
So stuff going on below that we don't see.
Yeah, that's why it's quiet yet powerful. Because if you don't plant the seed, you'll be looking at the dirt and nothing will happen. You've got to plant the seed and then have faith that the plant is going to grow. Or hope, I guess, not really faith.
So the reason that we celebrate this is we're actually celebrating the return of light and the hope that light is going to bring, that the winter, the cold winter is going to end, and we're going to have spring again, and flowers are going to bloom, and things are going to grow.
We'll be able to go outside.
We're going to transform. The world is going to transform from this cold, dark, silent place to, light and flowers and green things coming up out of the ground, and
long days of sunshine,
longer days, more sun, more warmth. Because at this point, by February, we're actually getting into what I think, Jamie and I both think this.
Yeah, February is the coldest month.
The coldest month of winter.
Is, yeah.
It was always so frigid, like just brutally cold in February in Kansas City when I lived there for 30 years.
And I think that in Florida for February, those are our coldest times.
Cold,
yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Because December is not necessarily really cold. And remember, winter season actually begins on Yule. That's when the start of winter as a season actually begins.
And I always think, I think we always think of December as winter.
But you're already in it?
Like we're already, I always do, because it's like, it's December, it's wintertime.
December, yeah.
But it actually doesn't start till the third week of that.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning.
That's the beginning of winter.
We're
Then we have 3 months.
3 months of that.
Yep. The season lasts for 3 months. So in February, we are when Imbolc actually happens, we're probably in the 6th or 8th week of winter. Mm-hmm. So then we've got what we're trying to build to, and what we're having hope for is the spring equinox, which doesn't happen until March 21st or 22nd. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're in that middle coldest time, freezing, and we can't wait to see all that sunlight again and that green grass and have the snow melt. Oh, yeah.
So this is a holiday that's associated with, or it's a time to honor the goddess Bridget, and you might hear her name pronounced a couple of different ways.
Yeah.
Bridget,
with a T, Brigid. So Brigid is also another way to say it.
But when I think of her, I see the goddess with the really red, beautiful hair.
Yeah.
And I think fire and ice. That's what I think about because of her, like the fire, the hair representing fire to me, and then the ice, the white from the snow. So that's what but she's the goddess that represents creativity and healing and fertility and even transformation. And she reminds us that even in this challenging time, the promise of growth and renewal is on the horizon, or the holiday reminds us of that. This season, this time reminds us of that.
Yeah, her character. We're going to tell you her story in just a little bit, but it is about keeping that hope alive that life will continue. Mm-hmm. That there's a new generation to come, that there's another season to come, that there's more that we can do. There's still time here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I first think of this holiday, the first thing that pops in my mind is Candlemas, and I don't know where I ever heard that from, but that is the actual Christian festival that involves blessing candles to symbolize Christ's light, but its roots align with the pagan reverence for fire and illumination.
Right.
And the crossover between Candlemas and Imbolc illustrates how deeply Imbolc's themes of light and renewal resonate across cultures.
Yeah. And even in the States, we created the holiday Groundhog Day to say, is Puxatani Phil, I think I'm saying it right.
That's it, yeah.
The groundhog, because we couldn't think of how to say his name the other day.
Puxatani Phil.
Puxatani Phil.
I think that's it.
I don't know. We created this, ritual that on February 2nd, that will pull a groundhog from his hole, his cage. I don't even know. I don't think I've ever actually watched it. Have you ever watched it? I
have watched it.
You have? Like the real ceremony?
Yeah, I've watched
I've
the
only
ceremony.
seen the movie.
Maybe I saw it in the movie. I don't know. Anyway, I swear I've seen it. But I don't know where he's coming from. Is he hibernating? And then he sticks his head out to see how... I think he's hibernating and he sticks his head out. But for the holiday, because this actually happens. This actually occurs.
What? The Puxatani Phil thing?
Yeah, the whole thing where it comes out because
it's like a ritual for the United States now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not necessarily... So how Candlemas is rooted in the religion of Christ being a light for the world. And for Imbolc, for witches, we have it, it's a holiday that's centered around fire and the hope for spring. The Punxsutawney Phil thing is just like, are we going to have more winter or not? God damn it, I need to know. It's way more straightforward.
Yeah, how much more of this cold are we going to have to tolerate? And we're all hoping it's like not 6 weeks. It's like 4 weeks.
Most people.
And most years it's like, oh no, we have 6 more weeks.
Oh geez. So I love it because it's letting an animal decide like our weather. I think that's so pagan to me. I don't know. It's like we're just going to see if this guy can see his shadow. That is now our weather predictor.
I mean, seriously.
It's great.
That is so... They don't even know. The people that are doing it, they have really no idea that they're so associated with that.
How rooted that is in pagan culture.
How rooted it is. Exactly.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah. So as we understand the meaning of Imbolc and its beautiful associations with like the rich celebrations and making a profound symbolic experience, look at the associations of the actual Imbolc holiday. Like you might not, I think it's very easy to watch this one pass by us. And
I think it is. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Very easy. Because everybody's angry because it's still winter and they're like, fuck everything.
Well, you're freezing cold and you've been stuck in the house forever, which means it's the perfect time to honor this holiday so that you can you pay tribute. I feel like you pay tribute to what has been, which we need. As much as we dislike or may dislike the cold period of the year and no light of the year and not being able to go outside and all the nothing growing and everything dead, it serves a purpose. It regenerates the earth, and we need.
It's the rest period.
It's the rest period, and the earth needs the rest period, even though we might feel like we're itching to get going, right? Mm-hmm.
Because there's that thing that nothing grows all year or something like that. There's like a saying to that about plants and just nothing flowers all year. Maybe that's it. Nothing flowers all year.
Well, we live in Florida, and this weekend I went looking for flowers, and guess what? There's nothing out there. There's like nothing. There's not much. There's not many choices. Like I was looking for tomatoes and stuff. I'm like, I guess you can't get them.
No, as a witch, I've known this living in Florida that they're not going to supply those things until after spring because nobody else realizes that they can grow things right now. Like our temperatures don't get so low, we can start our seeds. And
This is why you guys start your seeds.
We start our seeds pretty early, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've already had one round that we've planted that is really good for this part of the winter. And then when we get the really, really cold winter, anything that needs to fruit, it needs those cold nights in order to bear fruit. So you want to have the plant well established before that. Yeah, but see, it's funny because these corporations...
I thought I was going to be able to go out and buy tomato plants because my plants that Jamie and her husband gave me to start got destroyed with the hurricane. So
yeah, back in the fall.
They didn't make it. But anyway, let's move on to, before we get into too many of our own stories.
The associations with Imbolc, I think, are the best way to create a little altar or spend some time to honor it. Depending on where you're at, you may not feel this holiday at all. It could pass you by and, it's very easy to forget that there's a shift happening when it's the dead of winter. But there is a shift happening. It's occurring slowly, but the days are getting longer by a minute to a minute and a half each day. If you check, when is sunset, and you'll see that time keeps shifting and getting a little longer every single day. So the colors of Imbolc are white for purity and cleansing, right? We're starting with a clean slate. Nothing has come up from the ground yet. Red for vitality and passion, because that represents what's really happening underneath the soil, that things are growing and moving. We just can't see them yet. And then green for the promise of growth. So like at Yule, where we would bring in greenery from outside, from evergreens, this would be another holiday where you would bring in cuttings from an evergreen to remind you that life still exists, even though it looks barren.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah.
The symbols, so some of the symbols, candles representing light and hope.
And the sun. I didn't put that in there, but candles represent the energy of the sun. We're like bringing in sun energy.
Yes.
I was going to say sunlight, but...
Well, and lambs, and you might think, why lambs? Why are lambs associated with this? But they represent fertility and new life. I'll let Jamie tell the story of the lambs in a minute. And then snowdrops, which is the first flowers to bloom through the winter's frost.
Yeah.
And then, of course, fire, because when we think candles, sun, that's fire energy for transformation and the warmth of Bridget's flame. So tell our listeners about why lambs are associated with Imbolc.
All right. Well,
do you have a story about that?
I do. Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I didn't put it in here. Sorry. I'm glad that you remembered to bring it up.
Yeah, because I don't think that a lot of people know,
like, why there's lambs.
Yeah, why there's lambs, or even do you even know that lambs are associated with this? But they are.
Which brings up an interesting point later for like how Christianity incorporated lambs and like lamb's blood and the whole sacrificing lambs and the sheep, all the things.
They what do you call it? They appropriated that from the pagans.
A little bit. Maybe a little bit.
They really did.
So the sheep are breeding they're breeding around Mabon, the fall equinox, right? Mm-hmm. So this is when they're getting pregnant. And the ewes, or the ewes, EWES. I can't say it without sounding like I'm just going, ew. They are pregnant through the wintertime, and they're kept indoors. So back in this holiday stems from when people were literally shut in with snow, and like you brought in all of your herd to a house. Sometimes you shared the same dwelling with them, but these ewes were pregnant with the lambs, and this is when they would have the first lamb start being born. And what that meant for the people who were cultivating or harvesting or living off lambs. I mean, they're not eating them, but they're using the milk. Mm-hmm. What do they call those people? Jeez, I'm thinking farmers, but that's not the right thing. Herders. Yeah. The herders.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
Well, I mean, I think people had whatever farm animals and animals that they could keep that made sense, that benefited them, like from either pelts or
as a food source, but then also as a sustainability thing, because sheeps were not really used to eat so much. It was the wool that was collected that was made, they did cloth. Then when the lambs were born around Imbolc, this was the first time that they had fresh milk, so they could also start making cheese. Like, they had another food source, because all they were living on up until this point was the winter storage.
Yeah,
and depending on how well your harvest went, you could be getting down to the slim pickings of stuff,
Many people probably were.
I mean, starvation was a real thing. You know, it was...
there was no, Publix or... Trader Joe's or whatever that you could run out to.
I know.
Stock up.
No Walmarts of the day. So that's why you'll see the lamb associated with this. But the lamb is also significant for like new life and bringing in the innocent and kind of that blank slate of new growth and the promise of something. A baby is always a promise of like the next generation. So
and
the
that's
lambs
purity
are that.
Too. The
purity,
baby is also purity. It's innocence and purity.
Yeah. So that correlates well with this holiday that is about kind of the bleakness and starting at the very beginning and the life cycle of things. This is the first life that kind of comes forward like the snowdrops do, that is still in the winter season, which is not a time when we think of things being alive and flourishing.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, that's the use. So we have a lot of elemental and seasonal connections. Fire is the dominant thing here because fire was life. To keep warm in the winter was to keep you alive, to heat your food, to warm your house. You needed the fire. The fire is also the transformation. It's being able to survive through the winter and go from stark, frozen ground to the warmer, fertile grounds where we could plant and plow and then harvest later. So fire is the dominant element here. And you'll often hear this holiday and 4 others called fire holidays because they're sort of in between actual astrological or astronomical things happening. Like something in the sky is happening for the solstices and the equinoxes. But the in-between holidays that we have, they are just called fire holidays because they give us hope in between these other bigger holidays.
And they're the transformation from one to
the other. Yeah.
One to the other.
From light to dark, dark to light, equal to equal. So you do have the purification part of this because we just went over transformation, but purification and creativity, because there is such this blank slate, after the harvest is done, your fields are bare, you're planning for what you want your spring harvest to look like. You're planning for what crops you need to bring up. Did your family grow in numbers, so you need to add like another line of crops? This was all the creativity and how to sustain the coming year for our crops and our harvest. So there's a lot of planning during this time, which if you listen to the podcast a couple weeks ago, that's why we were saying that New Year's resolutions don't work because it's not the time for planning. It's actually the still time. Yeah. Now we're getting into the planning time. Now we are close enough to that action of where we can start moving forward to plan and be like, oh, yep, we know what we're going to do because we can see our way out of it. There's the light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. Yeah, the seasonal associations, it's the subtle shift from stillness to action as nature prepares to awaken. So you can start to see life really coming out and being aware that they realize too that the days are getting longer. Like they know they've got extra minutes of sunlight. They know that they can stay out just a bit longer to collect seeds or squirrels that are, uncovering their nut storage or whoever's running around.
Water and earth are also significant. They represent cleansing and grounding energy for personal renewal.
So I want to tell you about the role of Bridget or Bridget with a T, and the legend of her eternal flame, because she's connected with the hearth and the home and protection over the domain of the home. Like, I don't know.
Including the bearing of children.
The bearing of children, women, anything to do with like women being in the house, the kitchen, the staying inside and taking care of the family. Like all of those responsibilities, whatever they are. I don't want to make that sound too like woman's in the kitchen with a baby on her hip kind of thing. But in the old days, that's where she was to take care of all of the planning and prepping and the children raising. And then the men were out working in the fields and doing like the harder labor. So in ancient Ireland, Bridget was the keeper of the sacred flame. And what the sacred flame was, and some witches still do this, is they light a candle and then they pass it, that same candle lights every other person's candle. At Yule, there's a holiday part to it where all fires are lit from one other fire, and that's the fire that's supposed to stay lit for the whole winter. So we didn't talk about that tradition because I don't know anybody with fireplaces. Like, it's not part of our practice.
Yeah.
But know that this was something that's rooted in an ancient way of doing things, that from a center fire of town during Yule, all other hearth fires were lighted so that they could be lit throughout the wintertime. And it's like, that's how you were connected to the community. Like, you all had the same fire. So this Bridget sacred flame is said to be the same essence of that. It was tended to continuously by 19 different devotees, whether they were like honoring the goddess, but they were keeping the fire going. And so they rotated out to make sure that there was always wood there, that the fire never went out. And this flame was a flame of hope. It wasn't just for keeping people warm and cooking the food, but it was a flame of hope. It's like, that's why it was so important to not let it go out, because if you let it go out, it was saying that you lost hope. Like, you stopped tending to the belief that tomorrow would be there, that the sun would rise. So it also represents a 19-year cycle of the Celtic lunar calendar, which I know less about, but I think that it's really cool to know that the 19 people responsible for keeping the fire lit during the 3 months of winter also like correlate to the 19-year lunar calendar for the Celtic people and how they divvied up their responsibilities of like, here's how we do this. And it has purpose because it links to this. And of course, women and the moon, our moon cycle, like all of this goes back to keeping this a very feminine holiday for me. You've got the births, you've got the milk, the nourishment of life. You've got the impregnated earth, I mean, it's so much that goes back to women. So if you're a woman, don't skip over this holiday. I feel like this one is really for us.
Bring this back, or start having some traditions around it.
Yeah.
Because this is all about us.
So the flame is symbolizing life because of its purpose in the household, but also that inspiration that on the 20th day, it was said that Bridget would then herself tend to the flame. Like on the 20th day, you didn't have to do anything. Like the goddess would take over and keep the fire lit. So I think the 19 days building up to that 20th day, everybody was really happy because they knew there was almost like something magical at the end of that on the 20th day. I just love that. So the flame represents the returning of the light of the sun, and that's why we have these fire holidays. They're always about what the sun is doing in the sky. And keeping care of the home was the woman's job. So this is why Bridget was like in the home tending to the fire while the sun was actually gone or dead or dying. And when you add in other myths like the Holly King and the Oak King, and one defeats the other, and there's got to be like somebody there to revive the king, right? It's the woman's job. Like she's there to bring things back to life. We were the source of life, which the flame was the source of life. I know I'm talking a lot and in circles, and it's just like all these little connections.
Like all these little connections.
It's all these little connections. I love it so much.
Very cool.
So at Imbolc, lighting candles or fires honors Bridget and invites her transformative energy into our lives. So when you light a candle for Bridget during the season of Imbolc, that's one of the things that you're really doing is you're calling in that transformative energy of take you from one place to another, have you grow, help you transform something, create something brand new, fix something in your life. It's like there's hope for that. It brings a lot of hope. So Bridget is also the Celtic's triple goddess. So Mother, Maiden, Crone.
Yeah.
You can see her in all of her facets.
Okay.
And she presides over poetry and smithcraft, which I told you is like the blacksmith.
Okay.
So any metalwork, ironwork, and then, of course, healing, because after childbirth or birth of any kind, you need time to heal and sit and rest after literally giving life, creating life.
Yeah.
She's the protector of the hearth and home. I think I said that, but tending to the eternal flame. The eternal flame is the one that burns in us until we extinguish, until our soul transforms. And that sustains life and creativity. So anytime you want to refill your soul with purpose, lighting a candle was like a way to honor that and give life to your new purpose. Yeah. Her energy invites us to nurture our inner light and to, have the courage to grow through challenges.
By connecting the symbols and the goddess Bridget, we set the stage for powerful magical workings that can align us with the energies of Imbolc. Now, magical workings that we can do around this period of time. Spells for renewal and beginnings, like simple candle magic. Like Jamie just said, light a candle. This was that was the symbol of transformation, change,
Starting something new.
new. So a simple candle magic, light a white candle while setting an intention for the year ahead. Visualize the frame illuminating your goals. Write down old habits or energies that you wish to release. Then safely burn the paper as an act of purification and letting go. So if I didn't make that clear in the beginning, it's like when you're going to do this ritual, light the candle, write down the things on a piece of paper that you want to let go of, and
Put it in,
like
put
old
it in the
habits that you
flame.
want to release, old things that are no longer serving you, and then burn it.
Yeah.
That's a good little simple candle magic ritual that you can do or spell.
Yeah.
And
then we have fortitude rituals, which is really about like getting through the hard shit. And you can do this by creating a small altar for this season, but create a small altar with Imbolc symbols like the candles or a snowdrop. And also, I want to tell you, if you don't live where snowdrops are, I'm right there with you. I've never seen a real one in my life, and it kind of pisses me off. So I have had to create other white flowers that represent that instead. They're not the snowdrop.
A snowdrop is a real thing.
It's a real little, they're so cute too. Like the way they come out of the snow and droop. If you look up pictures, they're adorable.
Oh.
They look like fairy flowers. I love them.
Oh, I want to see one
they were
in real life.
I've seen them in movies as little, I wanted to call it a totem, but like a charm. And it's a charm for protection. And like if people carry snowdrops on them, no harm can come to you.
Oh.
So snowdrops were sort of a symbol of like protection from anything bad happening to you.
I love that.
Yeah. And then there's a Bridget's Cross, which if we were doing a video, I could show you that Bridget's Cross is really popular online and Instagram and everything. Like people do that because it's basically just pieces of grass all folded together in a square, and then each of the 4 points like ties off. I swear I did this as a kid on the playground, and we just got grass and folded it together and made shit. Yes, I definitely did that and didn't know why I did that. Didn't know how I need to do that. You know, it's like
interesting.
You just make it. So Bridget's crosses can be put onto the altar, and then when you're at this altar with these symbols of Imbolc, you would meditate on like the inner strength that you need to survive or get through, to have that fortitude for the final stretch of winter. If you're really feeling in the slums and like, I don't know, when it's cold, I just don't want to do anything. I like want to stay cuddled in bed and do nothing.
Yeah.
Like just get through it.
I totally feel that.
Yes.
That was pretty much my winter in Kansas City by the time we got to February. I'm like, it's too cold
to go
I can't
outside.
put on enough clothes to go out and be be warm and comfortable. It was miserable. It was miserable.
Yeah.
It was the wind and the ice and the snow and the
and then like with snow, you drive around and it gets so dirty, and then everything's just gross.
It's really pretty when it first when it first falls, and then the snow plows come through and the
cars all
salt
drive
things and everything's
yeah.
ick. But another thing you can do during this time is use journaling prompts like, what do I want to nurture within myself? Maybe that's a question you can ask and reflect on and write about. Or how can I honor my resilience during this challenging time? Because I do think that, at least for me, remembering how rough winters were for me in Kansas City, it was a hard time. You know, it was a time when you were just feeling like, seems like it's gone on forever, this darkness and this coldness and this not being able to go out and do anything and everything just dead and, you know, nothing on it, just everything barren. So it can feel like a kind of a depressing time, but it's, you know, that period right there is like, we're almost through it. We're almost to the other side. So we just need this little bit to push us through, to get us through. And the best probably way to do that is to think about the future.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want
to do? What do you want to build? What do you want to have? What do you want to make?
When this is over, what are you going to be doing with yourself? You know, start planning now.
So when I think about this, because Imbolc happens, you know, right at the beginning of February in a couple weeks, but think about what season we just came out of, in America specifically. So we had all these holidays, right? We had like Thanksgiving, and then we had our Christmas breaks, and we've had New Year's, and there's been all this hype and all these parties. And then you go a month and nothing is happening, and it's gotten colder and nobody's celebrating anything, and you're not going out with people, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm depressed. I don't, why, nobody's doing
This
anything.
is when
this
you have
is sad.
seasonal, what is it, SAD?
Yeah.
Season, whatever the SAD acronym stands for.
Yeah.
Something seasonal affective disorder.
Oh, geez.
You know, that's
Yeah.
when, when you're like really missing the sun and you're, because it's the shortest days. The days are
Yeah.
getting a little bit longer, but they're very short. It's pretty much dark when you get up and definitely dark when you're going home from work, I mean, golly, I remember driving home at 5:15 and it being dark.
Yeah.
Getting dark. Like by the time I got home, it was dark.
Well, I think there's no holidays really, right? There's no parties. There's no
nothing.
Yeah, until spring break.
I mean, there is, so there's a couple. There's Martin Luther King. There's the presidents.
That's only if you're at a company that lets you get off on those holidays. But there's still not.
But there's
who
no
gathers for that?
Nobody's gathering for that, and nobody is. There's not. The biggest thing about President's Day is the sales that they have
to buy more shit. Oh no.
Yeah, get your washer and dryer, maybe your lawnmower
TV or something.
Maybe they put lawnmowers on sale in February. I don't know, preparing for that, but there's always President's Day sale, which is just another way to push crap onto us as consumers, which by February you're already looking at those credit card bills and going like, oh shit.
Still paying off the Christmas gifts and whatever. Yeah. So I just think about with that, the fortitude that it takes to get through, because nothing fun is really happening.
Nothing fun is happening.
I mean,
I'm depressed now.
I don't think Valentine's Day is even very fun. Like, I don't like to celebrate it. I think it's all gimmicky. I don't like it.
Well, imagine all the people who are alone and sad because they don't have somebody on Valentine's Day.
That's why they should just do away with Valentine's Day. There's no point. It's just a marketing scheme. Don't get bought into. Create your own day of love.
Yeah.
And this, Valentine's Day is like a week before my birthday, and I still don't like it. I'm like, it doesn't.
I know.
I don't like it.
I
Never.
know.
Never gonna like it. All right. Moving on from our own personal frustrations with the winter season, it sounds like.
I bet some of our listeners can relate to this, though.
Yeah.
So many people that, I don't know how far it reaches yet. Surely we have our friends in Florida here, or which friends that are listening to us at this point. And eventually we'll reach much further. But a lot of people flee those cold places with those brutal winters to come to Florida to escape that. Yeah. So the feeling of being trapped by it is real. Oh, be sure
I do not miss that ever.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever.
Well, which is why I think it's important to get focused and spend some time doing creative things and that can help you get on, get pushed through until we get to the
perseverance and resilience.
Yep, there you go.
Just every day, what can you do? And when I think about being stuck inside, I think about things that are good for my mind. I know we just did our air energy podcast, and I'll tell you that really hit me with like how much is actually air energy. And it makes me want to work on my grimoire again, like really refining it, doing things that I feel good about that I don't need to go outside to do that, that I can be indoors and really have a good time with. I try to focus on that. I definitely have a very nice closet full of puzzles because I love fucking puzzles, and that will waste time and also make me feel good. I just like to solve them.
Yeah, I'm spending the winter months studying, so I'm trying to. I've made some goals for 2025, some things that I want to learn, and so the studying starts now, and the best time for me is now while things are quiet.
Quiet time, yeah.
And there's not a lot going on in the world, and so there's this like seclusion of this, kind of hermit thing that's happening where I can be indoor and it's okay. I'm not feeling like I'm missing out on anything.
I know, because you wouldn't do that during the summer months. You're like,
it would be hard to do that.
I want to go to the beach. And
I want to go to the
pool.
beach. I want to go, it's light.
I want to go.
Go. Absolutely. It's warm out. You want to be with the sun on your face and everything else. So
another magical thing that you can do or magical workings you can do during Imbolc is honoring Bridget in daily life. So imagine what it would be like to be the goddess that helps bring children into the world, protects the mothers, keeps the flame lit so life can go on, carries the triple goddess with her. So she's the maiden mother and crone, has a 19-day cycle of other people tending to her, and then on the 20th one she comes in and steps in for her group of witches. And think about honoring her just in daily life. And I don't know what it would be like to be the goddess. I know there's lots of crafts around her. None that we could show you because we're on a podcast, but they are there.
I'm sure there's lots of ideas on
Yeah.
Pinterest and, if you want to get into
There
crafts.
is,
But there's
yeah.
like making things from rushes or straw or twigs. This would be the perfect time for collecting twigs and then like making little pentagrams, pentacles.
Oh, yeah.
I get them mixed up. Why can't I keep them straight? Which one is with the circle and without the circle? Just a cross.
A pentacle has the circle.
Okay, the
A
pentacle.
pentagram.
Pentagram.
Yeah.
So that would be like a great thing to do because all you need is twigs or pieces of branches,
old vine, yeah.
and then wrap them with. So that's a good one.
Yeah, collecting stuff that is dried from nature. I don't mind going out and seeing things barren because then every once in a while you'll see a tree that just barely has buds on it, and you're like, oh, "You're already ready? Oh my gosh!" Like this one.
You feel
in
like
3 weeks, like you're gonna be flushed.
Well, you
with
almost
some
feel
green.
like it's Puxatawny Phil coming out,
Punxsutawney Hill.
saying like, "It's coming,
Here I am.
it's almost here."
Just like peeking a toe out. From,
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
So the other thing you can do to honor Bridget in your daily life is like cook traditional dishes that are dairy based because of the association with the lambs that we talked about earlier, and the dishes with milk that's symbolizing the abundance of milk and the nurturing energy of milk.
Yeah. I just want everybody to know that I don't really drink milk. So I wouldn't do that. I really love cashew-based dishes.
I don't drink milk, but I do use it in cooking, like for soups and things like that.
You do?
If I'm going to make mashed potatoes, I'm using like a heavy cream.
That is my sister all the way.
Yeah,
I just can't get down with it.
Oh no, I love it. And then soup, in certain soups to thicken it up, and
See, my favorite soup is butternut squash soup, and I'm not sure it has cream in it. But
I think it absolutely has cream in it.
Damn
Are you
it.
kidding?
Don't ruin
Butternut
it for me.
squash has
What?
got to.
I put pumpkin seeds on top of it too. Oh man!
no, it sounds
And
so
maybe
good.
those French fried onions. What are those things called? Not French fried onions. Just fried onions.
They're the ones that go on top of the green bean casserole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just French onions?
I don't
Fried
remember.
onions? Or what the
I don't
fuck?
remember
know.
what they're called now.
It's been too long. See, now I need to make something. Making anything warm, stews and soups. And my husband does make cheesy potatoes that are amazing.
They really are.
Like,
I've had
amazing.
them. She's not lying.
And they sit in a crock pot. Like, it's such a big crock pot full of them that they're probably in that crock pot for 3 or 4 days, and we just reheat them every morning. It just keeps getting crispier and crunchier around the top. And everybody loves it.
Comfort food. It's
Oh
time
my
for comfort
gosh.
foods.
Warm, comforting food.
You could also like recite a poem or a prayer to honor Bridget's inspiration and creative energy.
Yeah.
With these magical workings, Imbolc becomes not just a seasonal celebration, but a meaningful practice to carry light, hope, and resilience into your daily life.
Oh, yes. Listen, until next time, we really hope that the light of Imbolc ignites hope within your heart and guides you through this winter's challenges. May you honor Bridget's wisdom and courage, tending to your inner flame with love and care.
And as the days grow longer and brighter, may your intentions and dreams begin to awaken, just as the earth stirs beneath the snow. Take these energies forward, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye, witches.